Hello, welcome back. It's all about monsters today. For those of you who enjoy the little bit of lore that I go over, we are looking at what looks like an enormous spider, but it's a special type of spider, and it's called the crawling sphere. I am continuing to work my way through a variety of different monsters, and they are all from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. I'm going to put up a poll, so feel free to take part in that poll if you want to. Hello, Fred Huber, how are you? And hello, Dirt, both patrons, thank you for being here. I'm going to put up this poll. Feel free to take part. We will be making a monster after my presentation, but I have some notes, I have some information. We'll go over the lore for the crawling sphere. Let's hopefully I don't get tongue-tied on this one. Anyway, grab some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable, and then we will wrap on into this and get it done, okay? And then we'll go straight into making our own monsters so that you can make your own and use whatever we have here today. Okay, let's go there. Right. Hi, welcome to HowtoRPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about monsters for your role-playing games or your Dungeons & Dragons 5e game, because essentially this monster, even though I'm covering the monster lore for it, is a 5e monster, okay? So definitely a Dungeons & Dragons 5e monster, and it's from Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. This is the Crawling Sphere, and I'm covering the monster lore for it. Now from the pit, the monstrous sphere, okay, this monstrous sphere that crawls out from the pit. In a certain cavern far below the surface world, is a vast chasm, simply known as the pit. The pit's rim is like that of a large lake, and its depth, it will plunge into the unknown. You don't know how far down it goes. Grimlocks, dark elves, and other denizens of the deep speak nervously of a terrifying master, the Lord of the Pit. The Lord of the Pit creates thralls that carry out his bidding. The crawling sphere is some of these beings who emerge from the pit. On a multitude of long metallic legs they scuttle, making a clinking noise. The very presence of the crawling sphere saps a creature's life force, making it harder to fight. Hunting, killing, scavenging, whatever the task, the crawling sphere performs it without emotion, with cold efficiency. A crawling sphere stands as tall as the tallest giant of legend. Its monstrous head and body are the same structure when you inspect them closely. The crawling sphere, their legs carry heavy chains from which are suspended cages, each cage large enough to hold a multiple number of men, women, children, or just people or humanoids. Crawling spheres have multiple eyes that glow surrounding their spherical body and head, and it looks like a huge spider-like creature. Firing beams of powerful light from the crawling sphere's eyes, they can reduce a creature to a pile of ash in seconds. Projecting a shield of energy, the crawling sphere is effective at protecting itself from projectile weapons, spells, and physical assault. The very sight of the crawling sphere can see everything. Anything and everything it sees. It can even penetrate the magic of an illusion. Born from the magic from the pit, the crawling sphere is resistant to, and in many cases, immune to many magical effects. So using magic on it's not necessarily a good idea. The touch of a single leg from the crawling sphere is like a razor-sharp magical needle. And ultimately, the crawling sphere is death on legs. One of probably the most terrifying monsters I've seen so far in Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. This thing will cut up a group and turn it and reduce it to nothing. And it is a nightmare creature, definitely. That's all I have for you on the crawling sphere. I want to thank Esper the Bard for allowing me to cover this topic and providing many of the assets and materials to do so. I want to thank my patrons who support me. I want to thank you for listening and watching. I'm hoping this was useful or interesting to you. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Now that was very quick. This is actually probably more information than I normally give with regard to Esper's creatures. It is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. It is definitely a spider with laser beams. If you wanted to have a spider with laser beams, that's essentially what it looks like to me. Now, Esper's also asked that I at least show you the page and the artwork from his book when I do these live streams. So we're going to actually transition over and sort of give you a quick rundown of the stat block. There are, in fact, 2 stat blocks for this creature because he has 2 different versions. And then we're going to go into making our own monster. Now, here we go. That didn't work. Let's try that again. I thought I was going to get it to come up, but it didn't come up. There we go. Sweet. There it is. And can we make it bigger? We could probably make it bigger if we need to. Okay, this is the page, the first page. There are 2 pages for this creature because he's got 2 versions. You have the black sphere crawler, and then we have, I believe, the silver sphere crawler. The armor class on this thing is absolutely outrageous. It's a 20, so it's quite well armored. So it's gonna be hard to actually get through that armor class unless you're a high level. It's a challenge rating 12, so it's fairly high level in terms of what you're dealing with here. One of the things you'll notice is it has a lot of damage resistances. Unless you have a magical weapon or an adamantium weapon, you're probably going to wind up not doing very much damage to it. But it also has damage immunities, like poison and psychic will do nothing to this. A lot of condition immunities: blind, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, stunned, stuff like that. But it has true sight up to 120 feet, which is equivalent to your dragon in Dungeons & Dragons 5e. So it's got that kind of level of perception. What its big standout features are is the dampening field, the greater stability, the magic resistance, and the magic weapon. Literally, its attacks, its leg spikes, they are magical attacks. So they can get through you pretty easily. They're going to do a lot of damage. They're going to hurt. It has magic resistance, so in other words, it's going to have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Greater stability, basically you can't really force it to move around. You know, it's really stable. Knocking this thing prone is probably going to be almost pointless because you just can't move it. I mean, that's part of the reason why you can't force it to move. It's immune to any spell or effect that would alter its form, so you can't transform it into something else. You're not going to be able to pull out polymorph and transform it to another creature like a snail or a worm and stick it in a jar and then just leave it and then walk away. It's got a dampening field, so it actually means you can't have advantage. You can't have a critical hit. It becomes a normal hit. And so, yes, it does a lot of things. It can get through resistances. So, yes, a very nasty creature. And then it's got its beam attack. So it's got a laser beam. So a spider with a laser beam doing radiant damage. And also a deflection shield, which is basically a reaction, allowing it to stop incoming attacks. So, yes, or at least reduce that damage. And it reduces quite a bit. I mean, it can only use a reaction once per round, but heck, still a pretty nasty creature. I wouldn't want to have to face this. And you'll see that the silver sphere crawler is very similar in nature. Maybe not quite as high in armor class or quite as many hit points, but it has pretty much the same sorts of features. They're very, very similar. The only thing that's different is its iridescent pulse. You know, its recharge on a 5 or a 6. So that's probably the only difference. And basically, this thing goes out in 30 feet in all directions, and all spells of 4th level or lower in the area are dispelled. So essentially, if you wanted to shut down somebody else's buffing spells that they've been using, well, it can do that. And yeah, it's going to be a bad day for you when that happens. So yes, probably one of the scariest monsters I've seen so far in his book. We haven't got very far. We're only up to C, and I haven't covered absolutely everything in A and B, but I've covered most things. And yes, terrifying creature for sure. Okay, hello, Country245. How are you doing? So I see that people have been voting about what sort of creature we're going to make today. It looks to me we are making, out of 5 votes, we're making a subterranean monster or creature. So you'll need your dice ready. Percentile dice. I hope by now you're coming here, you've got your percentile dice, you've brought them to work with you if you're at work, you've got them close by. If you're driving, you've got a you've got some numbers already pre-rolled, right? Surely you did that. You might also need to have a 20-sided dice because we use 20-sided dice, and I might even use a 6-sided dice today. So that's usually the story. We want using a 6-sided dice at some point. But you will definitely need percentile dice. If you don't have percentile dice, you'll have to make up some numbers, I guess. You'll have to think of some numbers between 1 and so forth. So let's just get out of here, go to my screen, and we're going to roll up hashtag roll a percentile dice for the monster head, body, and limbs. And that's what we want. So we got a 99 already, I see. So let me just get my phone up and running. And we have a whole bunch of charts here that we've used before. I have a template ready to go. All right, we've got a 46, 43. Okay, here we go. Fred is getting busy. He's rolling those numbers. Feel free to roll your own numbers, people. You never know. I will probably use it. More than likely, I will. And we have a new patron just signed on now, Joe Dombrowski. Joe Dombrowski. Interesting. If you're in here, thank you for joining. Right, so I've got that going. Let's jump over to here. I want to get that's got to go out of the way. That's got to go out of the way. Freaky monster. And we are doing a subterranean creature. Subterranean environment. Okay, all right. I think I've got it ready to go. There we are. There is our template, subterranean. So that'll be our first thing to make sure we get the right one. Sub. Come on, Fred. Subterranean, something like that. Okay. All right. So this is our freaky chart. Subterranean, usually with a subterranean creature, I believe we roll 3 times. Head, body, or limbs. If nobody rolls, I get the numbers, I put them in. That's fine. That's fine. Throw those numbers in. I'm happy for you to do that, Fred. If nobody rolls, then I will just take Fred's numbers and I'll take them. That's good with me. Right, so these tables are not finished, as you might notice. That's quite deliberate. We are still testing this, and I will be testing this probably for the next year, possibly even longer. We'll see how I feel about it. So far, we've made 10 monsters, and we're making number 11 today. So first off, our first number for our head is 99. So let's have a look at 99. This one goes up to 50. So 99, divide 99 in half. I believe that comes out at 40. Is it 49? 99? Yeah, be 49. So it's a worm. A worm head. Holy Toledo. That's going to be strange. Okay, let's go with worm. I like that idea though. That works for me. Let's go with worm head. 43. Let's see what 43 on this table is. 43 is, we can just go straight to 43 because we got 43. An urchin. An urchin body. Gosh, this is going to be so bizarre. That's awesome. All right, let's go. Let's go with an urchin. Paste. We might just go back. Let's see if we can do this that way. Okay, there we go. That's it. And then our limbs. What sort of limbs do we have? 19. 19. A flea's limbs. Ooh. Ooh. God. That's going to be a really odd looking creature. Paste. Okay. So now that we've done that bit, we'll be rolling for special abilities and monster traits and all that sort of stuff. But well, let's actually build it with some AI. And this is the AI I've been using, Starry AI. I've got plenty of credit, so I'm just going to pull up this and use this as my template, copy, and then we're going to go into here, create, art, plug that in. So a monster with the head of a worm, which is going to be terrifying, worm, with the body of a sea urchin. I believe so. Divided by 2. I could. I only do that when you go above. If you roll it, if you have a number above 50, then I divide it. I divide the number. Otherwise, I don't bother. Because remember, there's only 50 options. So, yeah. Next. What else did I have here? Did I have urchin down correctly? Urchin, yes, I did. Okay, so now the legs of a, not a lemur, it's a flea. A flea, there we go. And, okay. Right, so I think it's a flea. Okay, right. A monster with the head of a worm, with the body of a sea urchin, and the legs of a flea. So this is going to be a spiky-bodied, hopefully, thing with just like an open maw with a whole lot of teeth, and then some flea legs. This is going to be really weird. I like it. Nice choice. Okay, portrait. We're not paying any money. We'll do Hydra first, is it? Yes, they've changed the format again. Well done. Keeping us guessing. And let's see if our first one can get created. Okay, so we'll do another one in a different style. So we'll use Lyra. Hydra is sometimes pretty good at doing stuff. Lyra, hasn't been too bad. No, anime won't work. Fantasy might work. Okay, and then after fantasy, abstract world doesn't work. Portrait just gives you pictures of girls and guys, but mostly girls. Argo has usually been completely useless, but we'll do it again. You never know. Argo 2 has also been generally pretty useless, but we'll give it a go. And then ink punk won't work because you just want it with a punker. Cyberpunk, no, that's paid. Synthetic wave, no. We don't want a woolly monster. And then 3D art can sometimes work, so we'll do that one as well. And that'll give us a couple of constructions. Oh my god! All right, so we've already started the process. Let's have a look at this quickly, if it forms up. So that is terrifying. That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. Yeah, okay. We've definitely, yeah, there's a few things going on here. This is going to be one of those times when we make a monster that is monstrous in every respect. Oh dear. Oh dear. Good for you. All right. So we've got something that seems very similar to what I was talking about, the crawling sphere, but not the crawling sphere. Aren't these supposed to be divided by... Okay, so now let's do a hashtag roll percentile dice for the special ability. Okay, all right. Hello, Pale Rider. How are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to make this a bit larger so you can actually see what I'm writing here. Okay, so we're working on our special ability. We've got the head of a worm, the body of a sea urchin, and legs of a flea. And we have a 76 for our special ability. Let's have a look and see what 76 is. That's the body. This is the special abilities. This table is complete as on Patreon for those of you who are looking for it. 76, 76. What is 76? Soul. Oh, so here we don't know. Here we go. Spawn ally can split up an egg that hatches into creatures loyal to it. Spawn ally. Ooh. Can split up an egg that hatches into a creature into creatures loyal to it. So it can spawn allies. I like it. Yay. Let's put that in. Is that the only thing that it does? I actually think we should roll again and get something else as well. Let's get another one. I really like the idea of the spawn ally, so that's a good start. And then what else can it do here? Hello, Overboard. Overboard is also a patron, but also a moderator. Thank you for being here. Okay, now number 3. What is number 3 in terms of special abilities? Number 3 is acid spit. Oh, I think that's totally appropriate. Let's give it an acid spit. Copy. It spits acid from its mouth that looks like the shape of a worm. Awesome. Love it. I think that's probably good enough. We could have some monster traits now. We've got something that's offensive. We've got something that creates some allies. We don't want to get too crazy and give it too many special abilities. Otherwise, it's just really complicated. Next, we have an 87. We can use the 87 for the monster traits. Let me just pump this in first. And drink some water. Always helps. Hashtag roll percentile dice for monster traits. Okay, so we got an 87 already, so we could look and see what Fred's 87 is going to do. 87 traits. There we go. 87. This table is also on Patreon. Okay, 87. Symbiosis. The creature has a parasitic swarm living inside it. While the creature is hunting, or if it is attacked, the swarm emerges to aid it. The swarm helps digest its food. Okay, so this kind of works alongside that other special ability. I actually kind of like that. Let's do this. That kind of works. Did you pick this, Fred? Did you look at these and like, I think he's going to pick that one and that one for special abilities, and then monster traits is probably going to be that one and that one. I'm kind of wondering now. For those of you who haven't figured out how to impact the construction of a monster on my live stream, that would be the way to go. And then we got a 32 on monster traits. Do we need a 32? 32. Etropic eruption. The creature has several layers of teeth that cut through anything. Right. Well, let's put that down as well. And I think that's probably enough in terms of traits. I think we've got the worm teeth are probably doing that. We've got acid splash, we've got symbiosis, we've got spawning allies. That all kind of works together quite nicely, which means that we should be moving on, and I'll be using 53 from Pale Rider. Root beer. Yeah, right. Nope, haven't downloaded anything from Patreon. Oh, really? You signed up, but you didn't want to have any of the stuff that I put up there. Okay, all right. I won't take it personal. Roll percentile dice for monster motivation. Here we go. We're going to give it a monster motivation. There are a lot of monster motivations. We have 100 of them. Again, this is on Patreon. So we're doing the 53 that Pale Rider's done. And 53 is manipulate. The creature manipulates other creatures for various purposes. not hugely specific, so we'd have to do a lot of the work to figure that one out. Not hugely specific, but we could do something with it if we wanted to. I might pick another motivation. That way we can drop this if we get something better. Oh, here we go. To born. How are you? So to born, you've got a 45. Okay, let's go with the 45 and see what 45 under motivations gives us. And 45, where are we? 45 would be jealous. The monster is envious or resentful of other creatures for some reason. Okay, all right. So there's a bit of work with both of those. I feel like the first one might work better. Okay, so this is one of those times where we're going to have to do the nutting out on that one. Okay, so monster origins. I'm glad you're good. Wonderful. Okay. Oh, you're waiting for your house to be built. Of course, that's right. You did mention that. Hashtag. I'd forgotten. Sorry about that. Roll a d20 for monster origin. Here we go. The monster origin table is just 20. So I'll wait for you to pump your numbers in and we'll go there in a second and put that in. There's only 20 origins because when we were creating the table for origins, what we discovered is that usually, and I've said this before, there's really only about 20 origins that monsters tend to have. Or there are some version of one of these 20, with only slight differences. There's not much else going on, so. Oh, look, there we go. Jealous of magic users. Right, so let me just note that down. And I'll put a question mark there. We might come back to that. All right, and where was I? I was looking at origins because people have rolled some dice, and let's have a look and see what we get. To be, you've got an 18. Okay, 18. All right, so 18 is viral infection. We've had viral infection quite a lot. Viral infection might work. So I'm going to put down a couple, and then we'll decide which one later is the one that we finally wind up using. There we go. Viral infection. We've got a 41, which is a little bit higher than 1 to 20. So we'll take Pale Rider's 16 instead. Okay. 16. Tragedy. An event causing great suffering, destruction, and distress changes someone. Ooh. Okay. All right. This sounds like this is like the Hydra. Right? Well, not the Hydra. This is like the Minotaur or the Medusa, where there's only one of these things, and something or someone has suffered in some way and become this horrible creature, which is a very common trope in mythology. And I'm all for tragedy. Let's do tragedy. Fred Huber, you've rolled a 9. Let's have a look and see what 9 is. 9. Immortal. A being that is immortal lives too long and becomes a bitter, twisted monster. Right. Almost feel like immortal and tragedy might work together quite nicely. We'll come back to that. Come up with some ideas for that. Let's see. Let's go there. Bam. Got that in. Right. So now we do monster lair, and we're going to have to return to some of these things so that we can round them out and make them kind of work the way we want them to work. Remember, we're doing the monster lore and the sort of the nuts and bolts of our monster rather than the mathematics of our monster. So our monster lairs goes 1 to 26. So I will type this in. Wizard polymorphed a dragon into this. You could do that. Yeah, why not? You could make that. Hashtag roll D20 or roll D20 plus a D6 for monster lair. Here we go. All right. So yes, the number can go. So you're either going to be rolling from 1 to 20 or from 2 to 26. You decide which one you want to do. And it looks to me like Fred Huber has already put in his number, 22. Fred, every time I see your name, I don't know if I should be sharing this story, but I thought I would, since it's my live stream and I can pretty much do whatever I like. Every time I've seen your name, and I don't know what it is, it keeps going with me. I always think about F. Huber, not F. Huber. And so I've been pronouncing your name wrong. And I think the reason is I associate your name, particularly your surname, for some reason with the Hubble telescope. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously not true, but for some reason I've constructed this narrative in my head. This happens to me occasionally with people. This is where you jump the gun. You see something related to a person and you come to some sort of conclusion that makes no sense whatsoever. So I'm going to share my nonsensical conclusion. I associate F. Huber or Huber as related to the Hubble telescope, as in, I don't know where it is. It's like almost feel like that name is associated with the construction of the Hubble telescope, the fact that it's positioned where it is, where it points, what it's up to, checking up on, I don't know, for whatever reason, I always imagined it, the story and the narrative running through my head was checking up on governments to make sure they're not doing bad things to the people that live under their rule. And I don't know why. And exploring the galaxy and the solar system by looking far beyond our reaches. I don't know why that narrative is stuck with me, Fred, but yeah, I obviously know that you're not the person who constructed the Hubble telescope, and you don't control it, and you're not using it to keep a track of government. But I always associated your name with that, and I thought I'd share that ridiculous story. Anyway, so I'd be bitter too if I was a dragon and got changed into this. Well, I feel like you guys have kind of made it clear to me that maybe I have to do this. This is the thing that needs to happen. That this is the origin. A wizard that's it, polymorphed a dragon into the monster permanently. Oh, that's not the word. Permanently. After they had a disagreement. So, yeah, let's go back to the lair. We've gone on a sidetrack. I know my little sidetrack story was part of the problem. I can be fast because I'm not just using dice. I know. Tubu versus rubber. Yes, I do, I know, but it's just a narrative in my head. It's just the narrative in my head. So we're going to take 22 and see what layer we get with 22, because that is what Two Born has just put in. Two Born 22 ruins. Oh, it's boring. There's always some sort of ruins. I suppose it could be ruins. It could be ruins. It could be some sort of ruined something. It can be a ruined castle. It can be ruined. It can be any kind of ruins. But let's see what 2 and 4. No, that's so Fred. Fred, you put down the 22, and it's 2born got 2 and 4, which is 6. Number 6. What's number 6? Is a castle, a ruined castle. It's going to be a ruined castle, isn't it? Should have known it. It's like the dice have spoken. Okay, it's a castle and it's a ruined castle. We've got our lair. Well done. That wasn't hard to do at all. Very good. German for type of grapevine tender. Oh, right, okay. About 1924, some immigration guy at Ellis Islands changed it. They did that a lot. Oh, did they? Oh, okay. All right, so let's have a look at our creature. It should be drawing itself up. Then we'll come back and do our monster reproduction, our monster food, monster senses, monster environment, monster communication, monster relationship, and monster weaknesses. And I already right now, for some reason, I don't want it to be able to reproduce. It can't reproduce. Just to annoy the dragon, so it can't have a legacy beyond itself. You know, dragons live a long time. Then they have offspring, and those offspring sort of, you know, extend their influence over the world. And dragons would like that sort of thing. So it can't reproduce. I think would be a real pain if the wizard polymorphed it into this thing so that it was not its normal form, and it was also like literally unable to reproduce ever again. Not that it probably would want to, considering what it's going to look like in a second. What do you got here? Let me just jump over to this screen and we'll start looking at these images. I'm going to just refresh this page and then catch up with chat. It hides under rocks in a ruined castle. Make it the size of a cat. Oh my gosh. Holy Toledo. Jeez, there's some... Okay, all right, the size of a cat. I feel like you might be right with that. Let's what did you write down? Under rocks. Hides under rocks. Whoa. Okay, so we've got it. We've got that down. Hello, Nick. How are you doing? I have a German last name, and I have less than a baker's dozen in me. What's up, Flubber? Joe, come on. No, that would be intimidating enough. No, I want 100% of hundreds of them. You want hundreds? Mob the party with them. You really want to mob the party with them? Hundreds of them? Okay, well, it looks like there's going to be some sort of reproduction process going on by the sounds of it. We will let's go have a look at this creature. There are various drawings that have been produced of this thing, and some of them are utterly nuts. So let's have a quick look, and then we'll go through and decide how this is all going to work. All right, so first off, I don't like this one here at all. This I can kind of live with. It's not the best image, but it looks like a round ball, like a sea urchin, and it's got, I don't know if it's got the mouth of a worm, but it's got something going on. It's got some eyes. I don't know why it's got eyes. It's kind of, maybe it's combined the idea of the flea. It's got flea-like legs. This, no. And this, I'm not really liking this at all. But this one here I can kind of live with. So I'm going to upscale it and spend some credits and process it up so that it makes an image for us that's a bit bigger. All of this is conceptual, people. I'm not using these as publications, okay? This is all just conceptual stuff as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I don't have a problem with using AI for your own personal games and so forth. I think people, when they buy a product, they do not want to see a whole lot of artificial intelligence, AI art that nobody's actually put pen to paper or actually taken some time to actually do it. All I've done is type in a few prompts and that's it. So yeah, don't ever think that that's going to be the case. I would always want it to be drawn, even if it's drawn by me, which wouldn't be very good, but anyway. So that's the first one. I like that one. Now let's have a look at the next lot of pictures. What are you saying here? It was pregnant. It was a pregnant dragon gave birth the next day after being polymorphed, and they have been breeding. I like the fuzzy flea-legged urchin with 4 eyes. Yeah, I do too, Fred. It's why I upscaled that one. This here looks ridiculous, and it looks goofy. I don't want it. This is kind of interesting, actually. It looks goofy. I mean, I'll grant you, it does. It looks goofy. It does. But I'm kind of tempted to upscale that one. Next. No, this is too Disney. This is definitely too Disney now. We've gone the wrong way. Oh my God, it's definitely Disney. It's got its mouth sewn up like Deadpool from the Wolverine movie. We don't want a repeat of that. No, that's not going to work for me. This one I can kind of live with. Let's upscale that as well as a conceptual idea. It does have that goofy look to it, which is not necessarily exactly what we're looking for, but yeah. I think the first one I showed you was probably the better of the two, but a couple of conceptual drawings, always nice to have, so we'll do that one. And then moving along, this here is, I don't know what's going on here. This just looks just terrible. It looks awful. It's also, it doesn't even feel like it's necessarily got legs. It's just got like tendrils. It's not even spikes. It's just tendrils. That is pretty awful. No, that's not for me. No, I don't think so. That there doesn't really work for me. I don't think. Do we have a mouth? It's got legs. It's got some sort of arm thing going on here. It's certainly monstrous. I'm kind of partial to this one, but it still looks kind of goofy with the eyes. That there certainly seems like a monster. It's a ball with sort of spiky things. I don't know if it's necessarily got legs of a flea. The mouth, is that supposed to be the mouth of a worm? It's a good laugh though. I mean, really. So let's upscale this one as well. I don't know that this is the best out of them, but we'll upscale it anyway. Yep, it's upscaling now. It is really funny to see how the AI sort of interprets your explanation of what the creature's like. What is this green thing? Is this like a pus ball that's formed on it? Or is this a baby? Is this one of these things that's going to pop out and it's going to spawn its own allies? Is that what's going on there? Possibly. Dear. And then, okay, we can download it now. Good. Okay, download. Takes a little bit of time to process these, but that's right. We've got time. That's why I make sure these live streams are about 2 hours long, so we can get the work done. And any time now. Oh, spinning around. Okay, that's done. All right, so that's out of those images. I think that's fine. Let's have a look at this. I feel like this is too much like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, or maybe even a 5-year-old drawing. Yeah, 5-year-old. That's what they would draw. That there's probably what I would draw. That's not really what I was after. Let's try this. Oh, it's a spiky carrot with an eyeball. I don't think so. No. That there is, yeah, disproportionately, it's all over the place. It has vibes of a beholder, but not really what I was after. Okay, let's go to the next one. This here is this is definitely from a children's book. Yeah, I feel like this is a child's book. This here, way too goofy. Way too goofy. Yeah, they are. Yeah, when it spawns allies, that is their babies. So it actually pops out. What we want it to have to do is it forms like a pustule on its body and then pops it out like a gremlin from the Gremlin movies. Okay, next. No, no. This is definitely this is a child's book where they're including horror and strange creatures. No, no, I don't think so. Yeah, none of that. Okay, let's have a look at the 3D stuff because the 3D stuff often is not too bad. This is odd. I mean, I mean, the 3D stuff always kind of looks good because it's three dimensional, but it doesn't really fit with what we were trying to do. It's got the funny legs. I suppose we could say it's kind of like that. What about this? No, no, that's way too happy. I don't like this one. This looks like it's just way too happy. It's got eyes. Why has it got eyes? This here, what the heck is going on here? Is that mouth actually stitched closed, or is that mouth just closed? No, I don't think so. And that, no, no. I look. We'll take this one here and consider this an upscale on that one. And I think that is the extent of what we can do with the images in terms of the conceptual stuff. I honestly think the first one that I showed you is the best of all of them. You don't get it wet. Don't feed it after. Don't get. So, well, that will be a difficult thing. Not getting it wet. If it's subterranean, it's probably going to be damp quite often. Under and how big are we going to make it? You wanted to make it the size of a cat. Right. So they're actually not large. Interesting. Okay, let's all right, so this is where I'm going back to. I'm saying this feels more like the creature, and the other three images were all right as well, but that's beside the point. Let's go back to actually doing this. Reproduction. So it seems to me that we now have a reproduction cycle. I'm going to type up what Fred has been alluding to and what I think he's after, and then you guys are going to give me some more. Hashtag. How does monster reproduce? Now, this is what I'm going to suggest based off the feedback. Now it reproduces. The monster forms pustules. Pustules. Is that right? Pustules with pustules with a egg on its body's surface that erupt when exposed to water, producing offspring. Producing offspring. Yeah, okay, pustules. Pustule. Is it pustules? Maybe it's pustules, price guess. Small dice for the damage each attack, but just swarming the PCs. Pustules that burst. Okay, forms pustules with an egg in its body that burst when exposed to water, producing offspring. Yeah, that is a disgusting way to create offspring. So 2 to 6 young. Oh, you want it to okay. Forms pustules with egg in its monster forms pustules on its body surface on pustules. Okay, let's go there. Pustules on its body surface that burst when exposed to water, producing offspring. And you want to have 2 to 6 young, producing 2 producing up to 6 offspring. There we go. Right, we want this thing to be able to eat something. It purrs after eating. Okay. It purrs after eating. Okay. So we've got it purrs after eating. That's fine. What does this thing eat though? If we have a look at this thing, what does that sort of thing eat? I don't know. That's a horrible thought, really. Preferably meat, aberrations. What does the monster eat? Not ear, but eat. There we go. Meat prefers aberrations. How we can put that down? If you make eye contact with it, it puffs up bigger. Oh, okay. All right, that's interesting. So if someone makes eye contact with the monster, it puffs up to a larger size. Okay, and then we've got meat here. Preferably aberrations. If someone, okay, aberrations. Okay, and then somebody had mentioned something else. It eats human hair. Human. Hello, Paul. How are you doing? You welcome the new fluffy overlord. Oh, it's not Paul. It's Phil. Phil Urbanic. Is it Urbanic? Urbanic. I think that's right. Phil Urbanic. You let me know if I got the Urbanic right or wrong. Okay, so now before I get distracted, because I will, I need to write down it eats human hair. Well, it just eats hair. It likes animal hair. But seeks human hair over other follicles. I think that's that follicles. Oh, I can't remember. Follicles. Okay. I got it? Okay, Phil. All right. Yeah, you almost wound up being a Paul for a second there. I just saw the P. The problem is I got my glasses on. The glasses make it easier for me to see the computer screen, which is good. But it's useless if I look down at the tiny writing on my phone. So all I can see is like a P, and I'm like, oh, is that Paul? And there's a P, and there's an L at the end. So, now somebody had said something, and I don't want to miss what you've got here. Oh, he's already moving on. We're already moving on. Okay, all right. Sensors. Well, let's get the sensors done then. Hashtag. What are the monster's senses? Well, good question. I think we've already got infravision has been suggested by Fred, so that's fine. That's not fravision. Infravision, sure. So it can see heat. It can detect heat with its eyes. Here we go. That's what that means. You've got hearing. Does it need to have hearing? Maybe it will, maybe it not. I don't know what sort of hearing you want to do here. Is it going to be able to hear ultrasonic frequencies? Is it deaf and need a hearing aid? I mean, touch. Don't know what you want to do there. I think the spines should probably be its and how it touches things is the spines or tentacles coming off its body. That's how it sort of senses things. Smell. Does it smell? Does it have a sense of smell or not? And taste. How does it taste things? Probably with its we can give it a long sticky tongue. Or does it just sort of suck on something and then when it likes it, it bites down? Communicating. Oh, you want to move on to that. Okay, really? All right. Okay, all right. It's fine. Communication. Okay. By clicking legs together and rubbing tentacles and spikes against each other. There we go. That's a pretty whack out communication style. Very animalistic. Let's see. So let's go with the touch thing. I'm getting rid of the hat. My brain is overheating. Oh, okay. Don't wait for me. I have to turn around. No problems. Okay. It's all good. So let's have a look here. What are we doing here with this little sucker? Back to our image. That's what we've got. Okay. So touch. The monster's tentacles and hairs and spikes are used to feel and touch food and its environment. I think that's all right. A cricket chirping is it rubbing its legs. Yes, I'm aware. Yeah, I know where you got that one from. A louder version. It can play its legs like a violin. Oh dear. Let's do this. It can make its legs rubbing together sound like a professional violinist. Oh dear. Well, I mean, Crickets are pretty good. They sound pretty good. Like you could probably put them onto a band and they'd work out perfectly fine. They got a good idea of rhythm. Anyway, every time we make these monsters, it's so funny. Okay, so smell. Does this thing have a sense of smell? I don't really feel like it necessarily does. I don't feel like it has any hearing. I don't think it does. It doesn't like listen. I don't think we do the listening thing here. It doesn't feel like a listening creature. Let's go with it has no. Now it's got to have some sort of sense of hearing. It has low frequency. The frequency hearing that is detected, that is sensed by its spikes and tentacles. So it doesn't have a hearing hole. Let's do it that way. I think that's its sensor array in many respects. Ears on legs like some insects. You can, but I think we let's put them on the spikes and the tentacles coming off it. It plays music to allure its prey. It plays music to lure its prey. Good Lord. Okay. The monster plays beautiful music to lure its prey closer. Okay. All right, so we've got a relationship aspect going on there. Let's back to the senses because I still haven't figured that one out. It has to be able to hear itself play its legs. Yeah. So we actually probably need to extend its hearing capacity. It can hear low and high frequency sounds. It can sense low and high frequency sounds. With its spikes and tentacles. There we go. All right. So that's that sense of smell. Does it need to have a sense of smell? I don't feel like this is a creature that really has a sense of smell. Taste. Now, okay, let's go back to our creature again. That's it. Sense of smell. Does a worm have a sense of smell? Because I feel like the worm is kind of, to a large extent, what we're playing with here. Or does a sea urchin have a sense of smell? Can a worm smell? Let's have a look. Worms have an incredible sense of smell. Oh, good Lord, it's absolutely amazing. Woo! As Daniel Merritt, a first author, blah, 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 blah. It can detect a very wide range of compounds such as molecules released from soil, fruit, flowers, and vegetables. Okay. All right, let's go here. And since odor cues, locate and feed microcosms. Okay. Can they taste? So let's connect it. Look, let's connect our sense of smell and taste together. I think that's the best way to go. The monster can detect a wide variety of compounds, such as molecules released. Okay, pounds. With its sense of smell and taste combined. Smell, because smell and taste are kind of connected. So for example, I don't have a very good sense of smell. I can't really smell things. But if somebody does some really horrible, and it hasn't only happened to me a couple of times in my life, if they do like a really terrible poop or poo or shit, and I can't smell it, but there have been a couple of times where I can taste it in my mouth, which is the most horrible thing under the sun. So I feel like your sense of smell and your sense of taste are actually connected. When I was doing psychology and biology, they did mention that sense of smell and taste are very closely connected. So the monster can detect a wide variety of compounds with its sense of smell and taste through its tentacles and spikes. And that is good enough for me. Good enough for me. Oh, you guys have been writing some stuff down. Let me have a look here. Taste is largely smell. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Very niche circumstances, but I bet that buzzing would really mess with blind sight and maybe bats. Yeah, it probably would. Oh my god, it's a legendary creature. The bards are searching to vanquish this creature to make the world's best instrument. Nice one. Nice one, Joe. Its legs are needed to make special bardic instruments. Oh, well, I suppose you could. Right, I see. You want to go relationship. You guys already moved on. I haven't had a chance to even type it in. We haven't given it a weakness. You haven't given it a weakness. We should make it. Its weakness should be towards sodium, salt. Like a worm. It blisters and dies when exposed to salt. It blisters and dies if exposed to large amounts of salt. Sorry, I just had to put it in. Relationship. So, the legs of the monster are prized by bards to make musical instruments. Oh, we did a salt sensitivity. Let's do something else then. We can do something else as a salt. It doesn't have to be salt sensitivity. It could be something else. What would be another? It could be just what about alkaline? Would an alkaline compound of some kind cause trouble for it? Yeah, have a think about it. I'm all for changing it up to something else. We don't have to have salt. I'll put a big question mark there. I'll put a couple of question marks. Yeah, everything's going to be weaknesses. Apply salt. So, right. You want to make a 21-eye beholder. Good Lord. So we did before. Note, I determined a bag of holding is made from a beholder stomach for my game. So did you? That's why if you make eye contact with it, it blows up itself and its legs, and it can have them. Nobody can. I see. Kaboom! Oh, you're trying to get it to blow up. It explodes. You get an exploding monster. Kazoo legs. Oh dear. All right. Okay. So there's a few things that need to be done here. Right. We need a weakness for our monster, but we need a name for our monster as well. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to, one, again, see the creature. Come up with a name. I'm going to go take a break very quickly. Hates sunlight and mirrors. Remember it's dragon sunlight and mirrors. Okay, fine. We'll do that. It blisters and dies if exposed to sunlight and mirrors. Jeez, that is an odd weakness, but we can go with that. So given this is what our creature looks like, let me type this in. Kazoo leagues. Hashtag. What is the monster's name? Okay, what is the monster called? What is the monster called? Okay, that's what we want to do. It doesn't like to be seen or see itself. Oh, part of the relationship stuff. I see. You're on fire today. I am going to take a break though. Okay. So I will be coming back. We will continue on. We've got plenty of time to get this done, and there's a few things that need I feel a bit of adjustment since we've just rolled off the tables. But I will be back. Arnold will look after you, and I'll be back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Come up with some names, and I'll write them all down, and we'll see what gels. Oh, we've got a few names. Let's have a look. Okay. Now that we've got that, let's have a look. So we have a bunch of names that Fred has offered up. I'll take them down. And if somebody else comes up with a better name or some more names, we'll put those down as well. Okay, so let's go back over here. And close this. Go here. Dracospore. I suppose it does kind of look like that. Dracospore. And then I like practicing creating stuff. The more you practice, the better and faster you get. Absolutely, Fred, I agree. Phil agrees with you. Primary motivation, wants to be turned into a dragon. Yes, okay. Wants to be turned into a dragon. I think that is probably fair enough. So there's a couple of things we need to do here in terms of adjustment, but we'll keep going down here. You started talking about its motivation, so let's do that first. Manipulate the creatures. Okay, the monster manipulates other creatures for various purposes. Okay. Jealousy. I think the jealousy one's actually going to work out all right. Jealous. The monster is envious and resentful to other dragons. Other dragons. Okay. And you've got here. What was the original dragon was? Fair enough. Yes, that's very true. What would be the original dragon? What's a? I mean, it could just be a red dragon. It could be a black dragon. Yeah, could be any. And aluminum dragon. That's why there are no aluminum dragons. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go with primarily it wants to be transformed into a mighty dragon. A mighty metallic dragon. I guess. Metallic dragon. There we go. We will get rid of the manipulation. We'll go with the jealousy because I think that fits a lot more with what we've done. And let's just do this. Come back to that in a second. All right, just a bit of formatting stuff. I'll do that now. We'll come back to you. We're going to sort that out as well. Motivation, mighty metallic dragon. So polymorphed a metallic dragon into the monster permanently. Okay, yep, we've got that. Hides under rocks. Near old ruined castles and fortresses. Okay, let's do that. Resentful, okay. Resentful toward wizards that can't or will not turn it back into a dragon. So the original is still around and it's producing offspring. Oh, okay. So yeah, so we do have an original monster that produces more offspring. Very, very different. Very different as a concept. Okay, so viral infection. No, we're getting rid of the viral infection thing because we didn't need that. Tragedy. Let's consider this as tragedy. Tragedy, an event causing great suffering, destruction, and distress. Changes the dragon into a lowly monstrosity. Really? Immortal being immortal becomes twisted and bittered. That's not what we're doing here. We're doing with a tragedy. We're going to get rid of the immortal thing. It's not immortal. That sort of works with this. That works with that. Potentially hates dragon-born PCs. Oh, okay, yes. Let's put that in. Let's put that into our relationships. Okay. Hates draconic or dragon-born species. How's that? There's our relationship. Monstrosity, aberration. Okay, so we're saying we're going to call it an aberration. That's fine, we can do that. Where are we? Origins. Lowly aberration. I think that's right. No, it's not. Let's do that. Cool. Right. Let's do the italicing here. Okay. Monster lair. I think we've got the lair pretty much covered. We've got the information we need for that. We have got our reproduction cycle, which is very gremlin. We've got its food that it likes to eat. We've got something really strange it likes to eat here. I think that's quite amusing. And we've got italic. We've got its senses, which are fitting for the type of creature it is. It's subterranean. So it lives under things. Its communication style is odd, but it's there. Its relationships we've got. Okay, and then we've got a weakness for it. We only have to have one weakness is good enough. And then let's see. Then we're going to go back to our special abilities and sort of hone them in exactly where we want them to be. We've only got Dracospores. There's only one suggested name so far, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping there would be a few more suggestions, so we have a bit of choice. Okay, spawn ally can spit out spit out smaller offspring from pustules that burst on its body that are loyal to it. So there's one of our abilities. We've got that done. It's acid spit. I like the idea that it can spit acid. So the creature spits acid balls from its mouth, and we're going to make that per day. No, per round. Every round. Okay, so that's round. So that's fine. Our monstrous traits. Okay. What do you got here, Phil? Might be sensitive to sonic or thunder damage. Now, why would it be sensitive to sonic and thunder damage? I mean, I could put that down as a weakness, for sure. I'm just trying to think. Is a creature like this going to be sensitive, weak to sonic and thunder damage? Is it because of all the little tentacles and spikes all over the outside surface? Is that what you're thinking? It is sensitive to sound. Well, it's got a very good sense of sound, right? It can sense a lot of different sounds. So, sensitive to noise and sound. It won't kill it, but sensitive to loud noises or sounds. I think that's what you're trying to say. So let's put that in. Yeah, I'm not, as I've said before, when we're doing these things, I'm not going to, I mean, I'll be specific about the special monster abilities and traits, but I'm not necessarily tying it into mathematics. So I'm not going to be too specific. The creature spits acid balls from its mouth. Round. Done. Yeah. You don't need to be sorry about anything, Phil. Why are you being sorry? For the fuzzy legs. Oh, you mean the fuzzy legs. Oh, right. So let's, yeah, I think we did stipulate, I did stipulate here that this sense of hearing is through its spines and tentacles. A sensitive to loud sort and sound through its spikes and tentacles. Fuzzy legs. Okay, tentacles and hairs on its legs. Let's do that because there's usually hairs on the legs, right? So let's, and it's through its spikes, tentacles, and small hairs along its legs. Okay, let's do that. Sweet. Next, let's go back to, we've done that bit, we've done the origin, we've worked that out, we've got a monster layer. We need to go with the motivations all sorted out. I'm quite happy with that. We need to do the monster trait though. Work on the monster trait because the monster traits are sort of not quite there. So, trait. The creature has a parasitic swarm living inside it. While the creature is hunting or if it is attacked, the swarm emerges to aid it. Okay. Anthropic eruption. The creature has several layers of teeth that cut through anything. Well, that's related to its mouth and its bite. I don't think we need to worry about that. Because don't worms have multiple layers of teeth? Am I wrong about that? I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure worms. How many teeth does a worm have? Worms have strong muscular mouths, but no teeth. Okay, so teeth aren't in normal worms, but fantasy worms always seem to have teeth in multiple rows of teeth, right? Certain sounds might annoy it. Take it off. Yeah, we'll just make it sensitive, I think, in this case. Okay. So it can bite through anything. Well, that'll be fun. Symbiosis. The creature has a parasitic egg. Creature has parasitic eggs. Parasitic eggs living inside of it. While the creature is hunting, or if it is attacked, the swarm emerges to aid it. So we've got spawning ally, we've got monster trait this. I'm actually kind of tempted to get rid of this because we're kind of duplicating it with the spawn ally ability, and I don't want this to the swarm helps digest food. Okay, has parasitic. Has parasitic microbes inside of it. Microbes inside of it. While the creature is hunting, or if it is attacked, the swarm. No, we don't do that. Okay. The creature has parasitic microbes inside of it. The microscopic swarm. Okay. So we'll do this. So it can digest pretty much anything. The microscopic swarm helps digest its food. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe we drop it and keep the teeth. Many teeth is always good. Yeah, I think that's actually going to make it way too complicated. I don't think it needs to have that. I agree. I was trying to repurpose it and see if I could make it work, but ultimately I think it's too much. We had acid spit. We've got spawning ally. We've got anthropic eruption, which is the multiple teeth, which is fine with me. Yeah, let's get rid of this. We don't need that. We've got enough going on. We don't want too many things that, if a trait and an ability kind of duplicate themselves, it's probably a waste of time. And then I think we've got that pretty good. I still would like some more names. I'm going to sit here and try to come up with some names if I can. Hashtag. What is a good name for the monster? Okay, let's try that again. So back to our creature and what it looks like. It definitely feels like a ball or an egg. It's definitely spherical. It almost looks like a spore, but it's not a spore. A death something. We need another word for a ball. Ball. Thesaurus. Jimmy, Harry. Globe. A death globe. A death globe. Yeah. Spheroid. What's a spheroid? That's interesting. Let's have a look at that. Spheroid. A solid generated by a high revolution of its axis. Well, spheral, death. I'm going to put down death globe. Is it a death globe? It's not really a killing globe. It's something else, isn't it? It's something else. Orbish. Yeah, no. It buzzes. It spits out. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So let's go with a buzz globe. Let's do that. What else was another good possibility? Spheroid. Our globe is flattened spheroid. I'm kind of tempted to call it spheroid. I like the name. I don't know that it necessarily says a lot, spheroid, but let's put spheroid in there. Spheroid. Just so there's a few choices amongst this. And then what else have we got here? No, pill, bead, droplet, sphere. No, we're not going to do that. Orb. We could call it an orb. Ball. It multiplies itself quite a lot. So Dupla orb. Dogar's orb. Yeah, all right. Oh, was he? Dear, I'll bring it down. Orb. And what else is there that we could put in here? Its key thing that it sort of makes it stand out is the thing it makes noise, and there's acid, and it makes more of itself. And I need to write down under traits its size. The size of the monster is about 1 foot high and wide. So it's not that big, about the size of a cat. If it's a bull, does it roll for initiative? Oh, nice one, Phil. It can move by rolling along with spikes and tentacles to aid aid it. Let's do that, because that sea urchin does that, right? It uses the spines to move around. Another violinist. Let's put that in as well. Rolls faster than by walking. Yeah. Okay, let's make sure it's rolling faster. Okay, it can move faster by rolling along with spikes and tentacles to aid it. Okay, because it does have legs, doesn't it? So, Schmelzie's sphere. Schmelzie's sphere. Ah, dear. Oh. It's hard not to laugh. Now I feel like this creature definitely needs to have a naming process come up for it. And I've done this in the past. We've gone through and we've done that, and I almost feel like it's always kind of fun. Okay, so there's a bit of formatting. So that's 11. That's 11. That's 11. That's 11. That there is 11. Okay, and then that there is 12. It's too big. That's 12 as well. It's a down one. Is that 12? No, it's 11. It's 12. Why is it 12? That's 11. That should be 12. 12 to 11. And all that is 11. Okay. There. That's 12. Why is that 12? 12 again. 12 again. And that there is 11. Okay, so we're just a bit of formatting to do. Is that 12? It is 2. Okay. We'll go there. Shift that. Move that there. That's 12, 12, 12. Okay, we've got a few 12s going on. We don't want 12s, we want 11. 11. And that there should be 11. Okay. Again, that's 12. Too much. Turn it back. Okay. 11, 12, 12. Okay. Let's go here. You can hear the little whistler in the background there. My niece is learning how to whistle, and she don't stop. Once she starts, she keeps on going. She's getting good at it too. It's like a little songbird. Here we go. That's 11. No, that's 11. That's 11. Yes. Good. These are all 11. There we go. All right. Doesn't dare swim, it would break out in thousands of pustules. Can't fly because the transformation of the dragon to this thing took its wings away. Yeah. Can't burrow. Oh, okay. All right. So we don't want it. It's subterranean, but it can't burrow. Can't burrow, fly, or swim. All right, there you go. You wanted me to add those in? I've done it. So we've got basically all of the aspects of our monster kind of figured out, and it's very, very strange. When we make these monsters too, by the way, they're not necessarily designed to be a combat encounter. Sometimes the idea is you make it and it's just a very strange creature that the players will come across. So they don't always have to be a fight. So we can make monsters and creatures that aren't just another bag of hit points to destroy. They can be something else. For those of you who are wondering where my head was at with that, I'm a firm believer that that's definitely an option. Anyway, I'm going to end the poll. So we had land, but subterranean actually won out in the end after 12 votes, and land got 33, and sky got 17, and nobody wanted marine, which is fine. We've done a few marines. And then everything else has been pretty honky-donkey dory. All right, cool. Well, that's worked out very nice. I think we've done a pretty good job. It's done. It's finished for today. What is happening tomorrow? I will be back tomorrow, and we'll be doing, I believe we're doing Beck Me Dungeons and Dragons character building for the Thief. So if you wanted to hang around and find out how to build a thief for Beck Me Dungeons and Dragons, awesome, you can. If you already have played Beck Me or basic Dungeons and Dragons, then you probably already know how to do that. But if you want to hang out and just, because we normally build the character together, name it and so forth, there's not a lot of choices to make in Beck Me. It's really just follow a set pattern. Most of your equipment is really what determines your character rather than other aspects, because the dice are kind of put you down a particular line. I'm actually going to try to, I don't know how successful this will be, instead of trying to do Pathfinder's basic rules the day after the character building, I'm going to try to do Beck Me basic D&D rules. Just the very basics, ability checks, attack rolls, armor class, how that kind of works. I'm still not hugely familiar with it because I haven't played that much Beck Me or basic D&D, but I'm getting better at it, and I'll be doing some more very shortly, like at the end of the week. And then I believe after that, I don't know how successful that's going to be. We'll honestly, it's a big, huge learning curve for me. The other thing is, end of the week, I'm probably going to be going over a Dungeons and Dragons 5e supplement, Dragon Ball Z. So for those of you who are into Dragon Ball Z, I do have a supplement that I'll be covering and discussing at the end of the week. And part of the Game Master Roundtable at the end of the week we'll be playing through a Halloween special. Wally DM will be running that, and that will be using Beck Me or basic Dungeons and Dragons, which basically means we'll be probably just making choices, talking, and having to roll dice very, very little, because there isn't a lot of mechanics or dice rolling in Beck Me or basic D&D. So it's mostly just making decisions. So if you like that sort of thing, and because it is me, Wally, AJ, Pickett, and a few others, I believe Mark from Dungeon Class will be there as well, and also is it Jake from Wisdom Check, and I can't remember if there's anybody else, but yeah. The reality is we'll probably goof off. There will be a lot of silliness, because that's what we do. Anyway, I better get going. So, huge thank you to everybody here in the chat. I do appreciate it. I want to say a big thank you to Esper the Bard for providing the artwork, the material, and allowing me to run these sort of monster lore live streams, talking about his monsters from his book, Esper's Emporium of Esoterica. And it's been fun. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons who support me so I can keep running this program. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been answering the poll in the chat, talking, or just watching. A big, huge thank you to Fred Huber. Hi, Phil. How's it going? Also to Phil Urbanak. Is it Urbanak? I believe it's Phil Urbanak. And then we've also got here, quite a few people who have been hanging out with us. Overboard, big thank you to Overboard, who's also a patron. And who else was here? Too Born to be. Hello. Thank you to Nick for hanging out and providing some feedback. Pale Rider, and anybody else I may have missed that I didn't mention. If Country 245, Derp, thank you so much for being here. It's been fun. We'll be back again next week to do it all over again, because that's what we do here, is we make monsters and talk about monster lore. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours, unless they're a crawling sphere. If your neighbour is a crawling sphere, do not be nice. Run for the hills. Anyway, till next time.